It's been a good season for Burnley. If we're going on clean sheets alone, it's the best season since the 50s, and you've won the top flight title since then as well. So it just highlights exactly how well I think that you've done, doesn't it?
The team deserve a massive amount of credit, because it's been a tricky season in different ways. People will soon forget I think we're one loss in 13 or 14. 14, yeah. But before that, heavy questions, on the team, heavy questions on myself. Was it time to change things at Burnley Football Club? Because we'd had a tough run. And what people sometimes get, I look at that as a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, it's like a sign of respect, I think, where they're going, well, it's unlike Burnley. I think we'd lost 4 on the trot. And I think they were like, that's not like Burnley to do that. So in a way, that's a sign of respect. But equally, in balance, it's a sign of reality in the Premier League. We're not the market leaders. We're not the most powerful club in the Premier League. So that can happen. We had to tidy that up, and the players did. We have to guide them, but the players inevitably go out there and deliver. And they did. And then we went into lockdown 7 unbeaten on a roll. And myself, manager of the month, which was a pleasant occurrence because you're doing something right if you get that. And then we've come out of it, and the lads have been absolutely outstanding. I mean, I can't give you enough, bereft of superlatives for them, because at the end of the day, we've had that many injuries and different challenges, with contracts and stuff, and they've just stayed focused on what the job is, and that is to go hard and deliver performances. So I couldn't be more pleased for them and for us.
You mentioned about that blip. The Aston Villa game at home probably was hard for the fans to take, I think, and yet, what was it, a fortnight later? Maybe not even that evening at Old Trafford. Is that the highlight, do you think?
Winning at Old Trafford was something the club hadn't done in 50 years or something. And, then moments are brilliant for fans. And the difference being, we'd been 2-0 up there 2 seasons previous, by the way, and then they'd got back in it, which Man U can do. But this season, it didn't have that feel. I think we were worthy winners. We went out, we controlled the second half in a defensive manner, but controlled it. They weren't peppering our keeper, and we came away with a really, really good win. And I think that reinforced, if you like, the good work from the previous game against Leicester. And then we went on and we were unbeaten in another 5 games to take that to 7 before lockdown. So that was definitely a really, really big moment for the fans particularly, but also for the players and the belief that we've got them.
I think a nice thing as well, it seemed to invigorate them as well. That was their sort of moment that they kick-started. But that's
strangely. I know what you mean, because they've really had a strong run since then.
Nick Pope, and rightly so, is getting a lot of credit. But as part of the Central Defenders Union, if there is one, should the back 5 get the nod?
Yeah, I think Popey knows it's not just the back 5. I mean, look, that is a unit and they've done terrific. But in front of that, we do ask a lot of our centre forwards. We want them to press from the front when we can. It's not always easy against some of the sides we play against. We want the midfield to press behind them. We want the back 4 to press behind them. So if you get that part right, you're trying to limit teams' chances, particularly direct chances. There's a lot made of, we've come off games, there's been like 23 efforts at goal, and trust me, you can only define really about 7 of them. There's people shooting from 40 yards out and it blocks someone's shins, and you go, well, I don't define that as a chance on goal. So some of the stats are a little bit misleading with us sometimes. The ones that I talk about are the real golden chances, and we've done really well this season at times at keeping them chances to pretty minimal, more like half chances, and that's credit to the team in front of Popey. But then, of course, if they do open us up, when called upon, he's made some fantastic saves. And he's certainly in very, very good form since the lockdown, or since we returned from the lockdown.
So in terms of the season then, I mean, you've been here, I think it'd be 8 years in October.
Yep.
So in terms of how every season I know you want to progress, but in the same way I know you've got core values and ideas that you want to keep as well. So what this season have you made sure that has stayed the same, and what have you changed to move forward?
I think the things that are important, the focus on a season's work, it has to be one game at a time. That's one of our things that we talk about here, the focus on each game as it comes, rather than running away with what's coming in the future. But on the other hand, there has to be balance to a season's work, because a season in the Premier League for Burnley Football Club is tough. It's not an easy thing. We don't, I say every season it's a restart button. We don't go in with, Burnley are going to be fine this year. Not many clubs do, by the way, but we certainly don't. We have to go in open-minded and go, right, we're going to have to work for everything we get again. So I've been pleased with that mentality. I think the learning curve for me has been really just enhanced the quality of people we work with here, because through lockdown, I think the staff were fantastic. I'm not in a position where I have to overlook everything and oversee everything, because I trust them implicitly and how they run the different operations within the club. And I think that for everyone, all the way through the system, you've got to remember, had people at the ground, the doctor creating, documents for the COVID thing for the Premier League. So all that background stuff that doesn't get looked upon very often, they've been absolutely terrific. And the players have been outstanding. So what I have learned is my trust is with good reason, because we've got people who work very hard, they know what they're doing, they've got a good skill set and they use it wisely, including the players, and their focus on coming out of lockdown super fit. I mean, fitter than they would in a normal pre-season. The culture and environment we've set here for a long time pays you back, because I really believe that with that culture and environment, with it sort of being a part of what we are, is when we've had these challenges and injuries and a lot of young players suddenly appearing, which, the first team lads, sometimes in groups that can make you feel a bit easy, where you think, well, we're not as strong as we should be here. Well, our group have gone, yeah, okay, let's show them how it's done almost. And, I mentioned that. We won at Palace. I said to the young players, I said, look, that's what you've got to learn about being a part of Burnley Football Club, being part of the first team. The effort, the application, but also the willpower and the mentality of that group that you've just seen out there, the older group, if you like, more experienced group, that's what you've got to grow into. Not just your talent, but you've got to grow into that mentality and that physical prowess to go onto a Premier League pitch, knowing that you can deliver rather than hoping you can deliver.
In October, it will be 8 years since you've been at Burnley. So in terms of what you want now and how you go forward, what's in the Sean Dyche book of the future, or is there one?
I'm pretty fluid myself with my thinking. I always was. I had a plan coming out of playing to develop others the best I could and give them more than what I felt I got at times. And I haven't really come far away from that. I enjoy working with the players. I enjoy working with my staff. But behind that, the undercurrent of it is I want players who develop. I want them to come into Burnley Football Club or any football club that I was at and actually thrive on the idea of, I'm not only just in here to win a game, which is vital, but I'm also in here to develop and continue moving forward in my career. So that's really been a driver for me. And I like that idea, so I haven't lost sight of that. So I think I'll continue with that. And then if that takes me on beyond here, good or bad reasons, I've always said that, good reasons, someone else might want your bad reasons, time to go, Sean. That's the way it goes. I've had enough question marks over the last few years on both of them things, including recently, of course. Then you look at it differently. But at the moment, I'm just really focused on this group here who have been absolutely terrific after this lockdown period and getting the season finished and continuing playing my part in their development. So that's really the immediate focus, and it continues to be that.